Hello everyone, welcome to Legacy IAS Academy. In yesterday's video, we have seen the highlights of Monetary Policy Committee meeting and we have discussed something called as Standard Deposit Facility. Okay, we have defined this statement and in this video, we will see in detail what is the need for such a monetary mechanism, that is SDF, Standard Deposit Facility, and how will it help the Indian economy. Let's begin. You can see here, what is SDF? That is Standard Deposit Facility, the RBI's new tool to absorb excess liquidity to control inflation. The excess liquidity, why do you have excess liquidity in the market? The first question to be answered. We will answer this question later in the video. Hang on. You can see here, RBI monetary policy, central bank activates standing deposit facility to deal with surplus liquidity. So everywhere you find the term that is excess liquidity in the market. What do you mean by liquidity? Liquidity nothing but refers to the money in the hands of people. Money in the hands of people. Just understand, liquidity means money with people. Okay. Suppose if you have 100 rupees, then the liquidity is 100. The same way if you have 1000 rupees, imagine the liquidity would be 1000. Just understand that. What is SDF? The RBI's new tool to absorb excess liquidity to control inflation. Okay. This is the context in which we are discussing this particular video. That is Monetary Policy Committee review yesterday said that it would be activating Standard Deposit Facility. So why SDF? One reason that we have seen is the high liquidity in the Indian market. So what is the amount of liquidity? You can see here, it is 8.5 lakh crore excess liquidity is what is in circulation in Indian economy. So in order to absorb this excess liquidity, in order to absorb this excess liquidity and also control inflation, inflation refers to the general rise in the price of all the commodities in the market. That is the definition of inflation. For example, suppose a kg of apples which is costing 80 rupees now, 6 months down the line if it's costing 200 rupees, then you call this as inflation. Okay, if the price reduces, then you call it as deflation. Okay, so this is inflation. So in order to control this inflation, the RBI wants to suck out the money from the market. So in order to suck out the money from the market, RBI has introduced something called as Standard Deposit Facility. So when was it first introduced? The first introduction of something called as SDF, which is a monetary tool, took place in the year 2018 by amending the RBI Act. Okay, and it empowered the Reserve Bank to introduce something called as Standard Deposit Facility. Okay, the SDF will replace the fixed rate reverse repo as a floor of the liquidity adjustment facility corridor. How does it operate? A very important mechanism. How does it operate? Remember, the SDF rate, that is Standard Deposit Facility interest rate, would be 25 basis point below the policy rate. Now, the policy rate, that is repo rate, is at 4%. So, what is repo rate? Imagine, from where will the banks get money? Imagine this is a bank and this is RBI. Okay, from where will the banks get money? One source is the deposits that people do and the other source will be the money that banks borrow from RBI. Okay, when banks borrow money from RBI, banks are bound to pay interest to RBI, and this rate at which banks pay interest to RBI is 4%, and this is called as policy rate or repo rate. Okay, and this SDF rate, Standard Deposit Facility rate, would be 25 basis points below policy rate. Now the policy rate is 4%, then the SDF rate would be 3.75%. I hope you have understood this. So how will the SDF work? We have seen this is called as repo, and now let's understand reverse repo, which is the opposite of repo. Imagine this is bank and this is RBI. Okay. In case of reverse repo, the excess liquidity that banks have will be placed with the RBI, for which RBI will pay interest to banks. I hope you are getting it. This is just the opposite of repo rate. Banks will place their money with the RBI, for which RBI would be paying the interest, and this interest, the interest rate that the RBI would pay to the bank, is called as reverse repo. At present, reverse repo is at 3.35%. Remember, this is how the reverse repo work. When it comes to SDF, that is standing deposit facility, during the process of reverse repo, the RBI is bound to provide some part of collateral, that is guarantee. The RBI has to provide guarantee for the money that banks place with RBI. Fine. When it comes to SDF, standing deposit facility, there is no guarantee or no collateral that will be used by the RBI for the money that it has taken from bank. This is the only example. Okay, this is the only difference along with the interest rate with respect to reverse repo and standing deposit facility. How is it different from reverse repo? Let's understand. First one is the interest rate. When it comes to reverse repo, the interest rate is 3.35%, but when it comes to standing deposit facility, the interest rate is 3.75%. Second one, no need of collateral. The SDF will not require any kind of collateral to be placed, but the reverse repo requires the collateral. So why do we need SDF now? Okay, what is the need? Why do we need SDF? The first one, there is reverse repo rate along with the SDF, that is standing deposit facility, will help in removing the excess liquidity of 8.85 lakh crores from the Indian economy. The extraordinary liquidity measure, for example, you can remember during the time of pandemic, the government had announced somewhere around 20 lakh crores of welfare measures. This also included the providing free food grains to people and also production linked incentive schemes in order to boost manufacturing sector, and also various measures to boost MSMEs and informal sector for that matter. So this 20 lakh crore was spent, it was spent in order to boost Indian economy, and while spending this 20 lakh crores, we ended up having excess liquidity of 8.5 lakh crore in the system. So if this 8.8 lakh crore is not removed from the economy, it will lead to inflation, which is the general rise in the price of all the goods in the market, and this inflation will further leads to depreciation in the currency, which means the value of currency would reduce, okay, which is detrimental to the macroeconomic indicators. So this is the reason why RBI has come up with a monetary tool that is called as SDF. The RBI will engage the gradual and the calibrated withdrawal of liquidity over multi-year time frame. Okay, this is what with respect to SDF, and this is why the government has come up with something called a standing deposit facility. That's all we have it for today. I hope you have liked the video. For more such enriching content, please subscribe to Legacy IAS Academy. Have a nice day. Thank you.